Good morning, everyone. Nice to see you all again. It's been a little while here since I've been with you on the digital space. And to say I'm excited to be teaching is definitely an understatement. I'm thrilled to be here. This is one of my many great loves in this life, is to share teachings of self-realization. So let's dive right in. You can go ahead and find your comfortable seat. As you see me seated here, legs can be crossed in any way that's comfortable. You don't have to fold yourself into a special pretzel twist to get the benefits of this practice. Palms face upwards on the lap, and most important is to make sure that your spine stays nice and tall, or that you're relaxed enough in your seat that your posture can be upright. The closer that you draw your palms towards the top side of the thighs, the more that it will start to open your heart. Many of us can sit steady in our seat, but our heart tends to close down because we hold our hands in our lap or we hold our hands out towards our knees. You want to create an upward lift in your chest. So keep that energy of your heart open. And finally is to reach a bit taller to the crown of the head. And in this way, the body becomes aligned and the muscles no longer have to support your posture. You can find your neutral position by doing a little rocking from one side to the other. And you'll feel, if you're sensitive, that each of the sits bones has its own connection point. And when you find that connection point, start waving up in the spine a little bit taller. Get taller and taller and taller until you can come to neutral. You may need to sort of lean forwards and backwards to find where is that perfect place for you to rest. Typically when we're stuck in the future, we're starting to lean forwards, or if we're in the past, we're slouching backwards. So find that neutral position. We're going to start with a chant this morning. Chanting is, as Yogananda put it, half the battle on the spiritual path. It helps us to open our heart and to attune ourselves, to lift our energy and our vibration into a state that promotes inner experiences of peace and joy. So you can sit behind closed eyes and feel yourself wholly receptive to receive these uplifting vibrations. To find a moment of inner communion and connection. This chant is called At Thy Feet. It's a chant by Paramhansa Yogananda. Listen to my soul song, listen to my heart song, listen to my soul song, listen to my heart song. In secret in my soul, I will gather blossoms for thee, dipping them in devotion. I will lay them at thy feet. Listen to my soul song, listen to my heart song, listen to my soul song, listen to my Just take a few moments here. Enjoy a few moments of perfect silence and stillness. And with whole body relaxed, let's become aware of where our inner gaze is directed in this moment. For most of us, the default is that our gaze looks downward, which carries our energy down into lower vibrational states. For some of us, our inner gaze may be directed straight forwards, which symbolizes a wakeful attitude, a liveliness of spirit. And for the yogi, the inner gaze gets pointed upward, looking into superconsciousness, beyond reasoning mind, a highly energized and deeply relaxed state in the body. So take a few moments here to look to the point between your two eyebrows, not at the space of the forehead, but right past it, looking from the center of your brain, as though you were projecting your consciousness out into the world around you. There should be no strain or struggle, deep relaxation at this point. And then you can let your gaze return to normal. We're going to start to stir out of our seat, and we'll start the movement aspect of our practice. So keep in mind as you practice this morning that every one of these techniques is to draw your awareness back into the energetic body or the inner spine, astral spine. So when you're practicing, even as we do outward movements and breath, always feel that you're returning more deeply back into the present moment, into awareness of what's happening right now within you. So we're going to come right out of our seat this morning. You can come up any which way that you'd like until you're in a standing position. Good. And just take a few moments here to rock onto the ball of the foot and then the heel, and start to activate energy in the lower body. So all throughout the feet, all throughout the calves and the knees and the thighs. Right. Just a very simple movement, but it starts to strengthen the feet and activate your sense of grounding or your connection to the earth. Next time you come onto the ball of the foot, stay up nice and high. Keep heels lifted here. Good. Let's take a deep breath and try squeezing the muscles of the legs. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze your calves and your knees and your thighs. Squeeze, 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 even up into the glute muscles. Good. And then very gently relax gradually and lower the shape down. Good. Let's take a little bend to the knees, and then we'll inhale and sweep the arms up and around. We're going to interlace fingers and take a little squat, and then reverse and push up into the sky and just reach above the head in any way that you can. A little side to side reaching if you'd like. Getting everything to begin to soften and lengthen. One more deep breath. Press the palms up as high as they can, and then gently slip the fingers out of the way and let the arms release down. Good. Let's take hands up in front of the heart. So in a extended position here, you're going to double inhale as you bend your knees, and we're going to tense our arms as tight as they can go, and then gradually release them. So think like you're pulling a big rubber band apart, and throw the breath out. Again, and throw it out. And again. So you're tensing, building to a gradual tension of vibration, and then gradually releasing. Good. Most important, hands into the heart, relax and feel. And notice the energy starting to circulate in your body. The greatest teaching of our modern times is going to be awareness of the inner body, or the life force that is traveling throughout your body. Let's come into a posture. Feet can be either hips distance apart or big toes together. When you're ready, inhale and rise up off to the side, and we'll start in half moon pose today. Breathing strong and steady. Ever reaching upward through the crown of the head. Just a moment or two. And then we'll lower down, coming through the center, hands into the heart. Take a little bend of the knees, and then inhale and sweep the arms up and around. And exhale, let them bathe down towards the hips. Let's come for another round. Inhaling, hands and prayer up over to the side. As you reach, feel yourself steady into the earth as you reach through the crown of your head. The more deeply that you relax, that is, the more easily it is to smile in your practice. The greater the benefit that you'll yield from the posture. And we'll use the affirmations for our postures today. Strength and courage fill my body cells. Strength and courage fill my body cells. Another deep breath takes you out of the pose, inhaling back through center. Good. Go ahead and step the feet a little bit wider. We're going to exhale, hands right onto the thighs. Deep breath in. Exhale, release the head, neck, and back all the way forwards. Inhale, push off of the legs as you lift with the strength of your arms and your belly. And then exhale to fold forwards. So a few more rounds here. Inhaling to wave the head back up. And then exhaling, bend knees even more deeply and release. You're relaxing mostly in the low of the spine, but also at top of the spine and back of the head. Relaxing the body. And the next time that you're folded all the way forward, release the hands and slowly bending knees, roll up the spine, one little vertebrae at a time, and watch as each of them reclaims a deeper sense of balance until you're back in your standing position. Let's take hands right up onto the shoulders, and you're going to go ahead and roll your shoulders up and back. You can come on the tips of the toes if you so desire, exaggerating the movement. Try it with breath. Inhaling. Remember, you're shifting energy and consciousness in the body. So as you move these muscles, you're liberating energy that may be stuck. And then reverse the direction. It's not just about the elbows, but you're rolling your shoulders up and around. We're going to take feet a little bit wider here, and then a lot a bit wider. Inhale right from the center of your heart and reach the arms out wide. We're going to face the palms up here, and then just gently raise the arms up into the sky. Close your eyes for a few moments, and as you keep reaching upward, shift the weight towards the ball of the foot. And you can feel this wonderful extension through the whole spine. You should be able to get a little taller here. Keep expanding here, breathing. Full inhalation, full exhalation. And then very gently go ahead and release the arms down. We'll step back under the hips. A moment here of neutral asana. Just let the arms rest down and close the eyes. Look into the spiritual eye and feel that as this energy is being liberated from different parts of your body, that it is now being channeled up through the center of your spine, right back into the brain. And then you can open your eyes back when you're ready. We're going to come back into our half moon pose and take it a little deeper this time. So hands are going to slide right up to the center in prayer position, reaching up overhead. And go ahead and lengthen a little more deeply this time, with the body a bit more warm and prepared for the posture. Using the affirmation, strength and courage fill my body cells. Strength and courage fill my body cells. Not so much about folding to the side, more about lengthening upward and strengthening the two columns of muscle and energy that stabilize your spine. When you're ready to release, come to neutral. Inhale to reach up with the palms facing up, and then exhale to release them out of the way. We're going to come right to the other side. So inhale, go ahead and reach with palms touching all the way up overhead. If you catch yourself looking down towards the ground, at least look straight in front of you, using the affirmation and feeling its influence on your consciousness. Strength and courage fill my body cells. The body will change in real time if you repeat these affirmations with deep presence. Strength and courage fill my body cells. Another breath here, reaching up through the crown of the head, pushing down through soles of the feet, and then coming back to neutral. As you're ready to exhale, part the hands and let them come down and by the sides. Just a moment here of closed eye, inner gazing at the spiritual eye. The neutral asana is very important. It helps us to slow down the rhythm of our practice in our life. And this is where we find peace. When you're ready to open the eyes, feel free. We're going to come to the front of the mat and take a big step back with our right foot. So you might take 1 or 2 or 3, even 4 if you need to. And you're going to take a deep bend into this front leg. Forearm's going to rest down onto the thigh, and your opposite arm will reach straight above if you're just beginning in this posture. The affirmation, I am a fountain of boundless energy and power. Let's abide in our body with that consciousness. I am a fountain of boundless energy and power. Some of us want to take it a bit deeper before we leave the pose. Face palm down and reach the arm up overhead. And let your hips come down just a bit deeper here. Careful not to fall asleep on this front arm at any time. You should be able to take it out, of course, over time. But use the strength of your core and the spine in your body to stay steady in the pose. Just a breath or 2 more. I am a fountain of boundless energy and power. The respite of our pose is flip the pose in the opposite direction. Front knee stays bent. We all have a tendency to straighten the leg as we go back, and you'll recline, still deeply bent in the front knee. Let the energy be upward through the spine, naturally reaching through the crown of the head. When you feel a sensation of inner balance restoring, you drop the top arm down and up to the hips. When you're ready to take your step, go ahead and inhale as many steps as you need. It could be 2 or 3, it could be 1 for some of us. And we come into neutral position. Release the hands and look right up into the spiritual eye. And watch as the whole left side of your body is becoming alive and energy is exchanging. I am a fountain of boundless energy and power. Let's take a breath from the sole of our left foot all the way up the side of this body, all the way up, and we'll connect at the spiritual eye. And then as you're ready, you can release and open the eyes. This time we're stepping to the front. Left foot is going back, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 steps. Deep bend into the front knee. Try to relax your hips a bit. Let them be neutral. Heel is resting so that your foot is pointed at a diagonal. We're going to drop our forearm down towards our thigh. Opposite arm is going to go up into the sky. Now it's very easy to keep the shoulder hiked up by your ear or your chin. Try to encourage it to relax and use the strength of the core to reach up into the sky. And you'll find that there's a sweet spot in everyone's practice depending on where you are in your physical body. It has much less to do with the way that your body looks and a lot more to do with the way that the posture feels. And you want a perfect marriage between relaxation and expansive effort. If you find yourself too relaxed that you're sort of slouching in the pose, try expanding, reach a bit higher, or point the crown of the head longer. If you find that you are burning hot with effort, then ease up a bit and allow the energy of relaxation to support your pose. Again, if you want the harder version, go ahead and face the top palm down and reach up overhead. And you're breathing steady breath here. I am a fountain of boundless energy and power. Try to say it while smiling. I am a fountain of boundless energy and power. I am a fountain of boundless energy and power. These are affirmations or activations of consciousness, truths that are already in existence. I am a fountain of boundless energy and power. When you're ready to rise out of the position, inhale takes you waving the shape in the opposite direction. Lower foundation is exactly the same. The upper trunk and arms rotate in the opposite direction. Of course, if you need a rest on this front leg, straighten it out just a bit more. The root of this posture, as long as your foundation is set, starts over here in the right hip. So reach out from that right hip. That's where the energy is coming from, up into this top arm. And then feel the central axis of your body strong, aligned, crown of the head reaching. And you relax in a little. Notice where you're gazing. Is it downward towards the earth? Are you waiting for the moment to end? Be here. When you're ready to release, top arm comes down, hands around to the hips. You take a little step, or 2, or 3, any which way that you need to, until you're up at the front of the mat. Let's bend the knees. Inhale, sweep the arms up and around. Exhale, hands right into the heart center. You can leave them here or release them down by the hips. Look into the spiritual eye behind closed eyes. Let your eyelids be very light. So we're not sealing them shut, but even let them peel maybe to halfway open as you look up. There's no strain. a warm, expanding presence in every direction. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. We're going to come into pyramids pose, another standing posture here. You're up at the front of your mat. You go ahead and take a step just a hair back with the right leg. Shifting weight onto the back leg for a moment. We'll take hands into the heart center. Start to straighten your front leg, locking the knee up towards the thigh, engaging your thigh, and we're going to start lowering ourselves forwards. So nice and gradual here. If you have low back sensitivity, be very mindful, and you may even go ahead and place your hands onto your thigh. Now at some point we arrive in a position that we can sustain. Use the belly muscles, squeeze the belly, just enough to support you, but still so that you can breathe. This is the active phase of pyramids pose. If you look at my spine, it's long, it's extending, and that's the ideal for us. Keep reaching through the crown of the head. The affirmation, it may be a little modified. I offer myself fully into the flow of grace. When you're ready to make that offering, pour the upper body over the legs, release the head and the neck down, and make sure they fully release. The affirmation again, I offer myself fully into the flow of grace. Hips go further backwards as you bow more profoundly over the legs. If you need to come up for a moment, use the strength of your legs and maybe the hands resting on your left thigh. You can always come into the neutral position or the active phase right here. And then when you're ready, you come back down for another dive. I offer myself fully into the flow of grace. If anyone can release hands all the way down, feel free. Some of us interlace fingers on backside of thighs. Give a little wag of the head forwards and backwards if you're able to here. And this is mostly to release that point in the back of the neck, base of the skull. Each in their own timing. When you're ready to rise, take your hands onto your thigh and round your back. Round your back as you press up, slowly, slowly rolling all the way back up to standing. Squeeze the legs if there's any sensation of lightheadedness. Take your step forwards. Turn the palms to face front and look right into the spiritual eye as all the energy and consciousness begins to return into your brain. This posture speaks for itself. See if you can become aware of the inner currents of energy. There are currents in your legs, in your arms, your torso. The yogis have identified 72,000 currents in the body. But really, there's two that are of utmost importance, spiraling around our spine, and that's what we want to begin to become aware of. They marry at the point between the two eyebrows. Now when you're ready, we're going to come for the other side. Eyes are opening, and again, it's just a little step here, maybe a foot or two, and you're straightening your front leg. Weight shifts onto the back leg to set up for the pose. Hands into the heart. Or if you need extra support, leave your hands down by your hips and we'll start leaning forwards. At some point we feel in our body as the hips go back and we lengthen through the entirety of the spine that there's a place where our body is ready to rest and stabilize. Make sure your right knee is drawn up into the thigh. And we'll stay in the halfway position. It can be a little challenging, but it's well worth it. Just keep imagining that your spine is lengthening out of the bowl of your hips. You're getting longer and longer. Whole body is relaxed even as it actively supports you. And stay here as long as you feel that it's serving your practice. And we'll begin to activate with the affirmation, I offer myself fully into the flow of grace. When you're ready to make that offering, fold the body, top side of the body over the legs, crown of the head, pouring its contents down towards the earth. If you feel that you can release your hands, send them down, but make sure they're in a supportive place. You can judge if you've gone too far in the practice based on how easy it is to smile. If you can smile very easily, perfect, you're exactly where you need to be. If smiling is a new practice for you, keep working on it. It's the most important asana of them all. I offer myself fully into the flow of grace. And feel that. The yogis have taught us that at the base of the skull, top of the spine, is the entry point of a cosmic supply of energy to recharge our bodies, minds, and spirits. This posture honors this place. Now, some of us are quite comfortable here. Some of us may come up for a halfway lift and then take another plunge. Understandably, some of us are ready to come out of the pose. These are longer holds today. So when you are ready to come out, just slowly round the back and walk up your right leg with the hands. Head is the last part of the body to rise. Squeeze the thighs as you take your step forwards. And go ahead and become broad in the region of the heart. Palms open outward. Weight is towards the ball of the foot, and the crown of the head is reaching towards the heavens. Eyes are lightly closed, but inner gaze resting steadfastly at the spiritual eye. Relax the entire body at once and feel the fields of energy, the movements of consciousness beneath the skin, and truly around and outside the body as well. I offer myself fully into the flow of grace. Let your breath stabilize until you find deep, deep peace. We'll carry that peace into our next posture. This is a chair pose. And it's a little different than what you may have practiced before. We're going to send our arms up first. And you're going to use your uplifted arms to inhale and reach as tall as you can. When you're ready to exhale, bend your knees and offer your hands like you're holding a plate of hors d'oeuvres out in front of your heart. And so some of us can only go very shallow into this version of the pose, and it's quite all right. Stay there. Others of us are going to roll onto the balls of our feet. Heels are lifting. And we're going to go even a little bit deeper. Keep your hips right under the shoulders, and you'll feel a wonderful activating presence in your thighs. Now roll your shoulders down and back so that when you offer your hands out, you're not caving in the heart, but you're using an open heart, spine one vertebrae stacked over another. And you'll find that through breathing and extending your will into the hands and the legs that you can stay longer. The affirmation, my body is no burden, I am light as air. My body is no burden, I am light as air. Relax the body into that consciousness. My body is no burden. I am light as air. When you're ready to relieve of the pose, inhale, reach the arms up, set the heels down. No need to be dramatic. Arms just very relaxed, come down in each direction. Bathe the field around you. Take a few cleansings of the spine, inhaling, palms facing up. Exhaling, releasing, and you're washing away any baggage or density that may be stuck in your energetic field. Inhaling, palms facing up through the spine. And then releasing as you exhale, palms all the way out. One more time. Inhaling, watching where the hands are moving past and feeling them. Feeling the subtle currents of energy awakening before your inner gaze. We're going to come into the posture again, and this time being prepared for it, anticipating a greater success in the posture. Now that we know how to be there, we come in more calm. When you're ready, you inhale and reach the arms up. Exhale, go ahead and start to lower the hands first. I just want to make sure we get our shoulders aligned, so roll the shoulders down and back, then start to bend the knees and lower down. And if you can, you lift the heels and you find a position that stimulates your body. Some of us, it's right at the beginning. This is a challenging position to put your body in. The higher the heels go, the more strength that you drive into the calves. Thighs are wrapping around the bones in support. Most important is that you're looking at least straight forward. Many of us may feel the permission to look upward a little bit higher. Now, the last part of this pose is not for everyone's body, but if you desire to do so, go all the way down towards the ground and lay your hands. It's actually a restful position. Your knees should be sloping gently beneath your hips, holding hands steady here. My body is no burden. I am light as air. Keep the heart open and lifted, shoulders back and down. If anyone can close the eyes, you may experiment. It might make you wobble a bit or fall over. And when you're ready to rise, hands come back and down behind you. Use the inspiration of the inhale to sweep your arms and your body all the way up. Inhale right into a firm position, heels down. Exhale, arms out of the way. Let's look right into the spiritual eye. Keep looking steadfast there. Waves of peace pulsing through the body. And you'll find heaviness evaporating before your inner gaze, inner observation. My body is no burden. I am light as air. And be so decided in your gaze at the spiritual eye that you're like Saint Joseph, who would levitate off of the ground in his devotional fervor to the Divine Mother. When you're ready to inhale, reach the arms up overhead, pressing the palms. You might even look a little here, get a little back bend, awakening into the body. Let's stay here for a few moments. Chin stays tucked towards the throat region, and the crown of the head is the aspiration point in the pose. It's our final standing posture. Stay here for a little bit longer if you can, belly muscles squeezing. And then exhale and part the arms and fold all the way forward. Make sure you release your head and your neck. Some of us will hold on to elbows and we'll do a little swinging side to side. Don't be afraid to bend your knees in a forward fold really deeply so that you can rest.
Anybody with flexibility to do so, you can work to straighten the legs. The affirmation, nothing on earth can hold me. And feel the consciousness behind these words, nothing on earth can hold me. If you need to sort of roll the lips a few times here to discharge any tension holding in the jaw, if you're resting on the heels, roll towards ball of the foot. You can stretch muscles of the face by wrinkling the nose, scrunching forehead region, opening the mouth and sticking out the tongue towards the chin. We're going to prepare to take a big step back here, coming into a lunging pose. So bend the knees enough that you make contact with your hands in the earth. Right foot goes all the way back. Tap the knee down, and we're rising by sitting hips right over the knee and then lifting up into the asana. When you're ready, float the arms up and around. So there are many different versions of this posture. The gentle version is hips over the knee, as you can see. If you'd like to go a little further, you lean in to the pose. Now imagine like you had a tight belt wrapped around your hips. There's a sense of inward engaging of the hips and the pelvic region. And this is what gives us permission to roll the chest open with arms reaching above the head. Crown of the head reaches a bit higher. And we relax into a smiling version of this pose. Good, nice steady breath here. Pushing down through soles of the feet. Engaging through the base of the spine. And even if one of these cues finds a new experience of the posture, then it's a successful venture for you. We're all in different degrees of our practice. Hands coming all the way back down to the ground when you're ready. We're going to set for a half Hanuman pose. So you're going to roll, untuck the back toes first of all, and then roll back into a straightening of the front leg. Now, straightening can be bent knee as well. Some of us lift our toes. There are two versions of this pose that are most common. One is your hips are right over your knee. The other is some of us slide back and down and we lay over the back leg. But most of us have plenty to do here. Now the challenge in this pose is keep the heart open. And you'll feel it as you start to bow the belly and the heart region open, it will catch in the back side of the leg. So just be gentle, mindful of what you need. And all the while you can make little micro adjustments, little shifts in the hips, or reaching for crown of the head. Could be shoulders rolling back and down. And at some point you can take the humble version of this posture, bowing the head and releasing back even further. Make sure you get the head and the neck to completely let go in the pose. And breathe vitality into the body, especially those areas that feel stimulated. If it's ever too intense on the back side of the leg, wiggle the toes a bit here. We're coming out of the pose in your own timing, walking back over the front region of the body, toes of your back foot tuck underneath, and we're going to lift the back knee off the ground. Slide your front foot back right into a downward facing dog. This is our destination, so stay here for a bit if you will. If you need a rest, come right into child's pose, which is knees onto the earth, toes untucked, arms extended. If you're in downward facing dog and you like to bend one knee more deeply than the other, feel free. Most important, let heels be heavy and relax your body. We often try much too hard in our yoga asana practice, and what happens is we constrict the channel through over-efforting. And that wonderful cosmic flow of energy can no longer support us, and postures become very hard. Make sure you're looking back towards your lap. And we'll use the affirmation, staying in the pose.
Calmness radiates from every fiber of my being. Calmness radiates from every fiber of my being. Now when you see fit, lower down into child's pose, or you can come into Vajrasana, the posture that I'm sitting in, which is the hero's pose, sitting over the ankles, certainly not comfortable for all of us. Close the eyes wherever you are and let the body recalibrate. And make the spiritual eye the pole star of your practice. That is the central guiding light that you are always looking to for inner direction and guidance. Keep softening into deeper expressions of peace in the body. Now, some of us who tend towards a more lethargic or sleep-like energy in our day-to-day, it's important for you to stay energetic. That is, be willing to be awake even in the resting postures. And those of us who tend towards overactivity, it's of the utmost importance to allow a calm, abiding presence to expand throughout your body. You feel the call, you're going to slowly begin to rise up in your own timing. If you're in Vajrasana, just go ahead and come into table. If you're in child's pose, go ahead and roll up into your tabletop pose. We'll take a few rounds of inhaling into cow pose, that is belly drops and spine arches. And then exhaling round the entirety of the back, belly tucks up towards the spine and you look towards your lap. Inhaling, lifting crown of the head on cow pose. Shoulders are always relaxed. Exhaling, rounding the back, tucking chin. And you're just looking to flush the body out here. Any energies that may be releasing. And we'll come to neutral, toes tuck underneath. We're only using it as a transition. You're going to push your hips back nice and smooth into downward facing dog. And this time we're stepping our right foot all the way forwards, in between the hands. Back knee is going to drop down. Now some of us find it easier to walk up this supportive leg, and we're balancing. So your hips are over the knee to start. And then you can start to release forwards if you so desire. Arms are going to carry right up to the center of the body and reach up overhead, like you're pulling the curtain apart and opening your eyes, opening the light to shine into your experience. again, a little bit of tension along the hips could do wonders in stabilizing this area of the body. We're building strength and flexibility. And then you might start lifting through the pelvic floor, an upward drawn experience, rising up through the spine, opening the solar plexus. It's like the furnace that fuels the fire. Expanding through the heart, shoulders relaxed, calmness in the region of the throat. And if you're looking down, at least look forwards. The rest of us start looking upward towards the spiritual eye. Ideally, the whole shape becomes relaxed at some point, and you find that the channel, no longer constricted by effort and no longer blocked by indifference, energy starts to flow in your body. It becomes easy to smile and be joyful. Keep aspiring upward, not just through tips of the fingers, but through crown of the head, throughout the spine. Until you reach a moment of transformation. And breathe into that space, stay as long as you'd like. At some point we're lowering hands down and we come into half Hanuman pose. Hands out by the front foot. And you just start to scoot your hips back with the front leg extending. Start in the active phase. Some of us might even walk all the way up. And we might take our hands maybe towards the hips. And we just sort of experiment with leaning forwards in the pose. Others of us have hands down towards the earth. And we're using this as our exploration field. What's most important in this first aspect of the half Hanuman is that you keep an arch in your back, the normal arch, the natural arch. And then at some point we feel the natural inclination to round the back and release the head. Keep your awareness centered in the region of the head, feeling the channel of energy and consciousness that is your spine, feeding up into the brain. Hips go further back as you more profoundly bow the front of the body over the lap. Wherever you are, wiggle the toes if it gets too serious. Make sure you can smile. Remember, no posture, no stretch is worth it if you sacrifice joy. The whole purpose of our practice is to deliver us back to our essential nature, which is joy and bliss. If you're doing anything to counter that, we're moving in the wrong direction. You're slowing down the rhythm, feeling and experiencing. For some of us, this pose is very challenging, and you might begin to exit the pose. If you like it very much, stay in the position. When you're ready to leave, go ahead and roll the toes of the left foot under and lift the knee. And then stepping right foot out from between the hands, come into downward facing dog. It's the last of our kneeling positions. It's a great calibrating posture after we're working on left and right sides of the body. So look towards your lap and repeat the affirmation. Calmness radiates from every fiber of my being. Calmness radiates from every fiber of my being. And you know that you're calm when the breath begins to form whale-like movements through the ocean, slow, gradual, graceful movements. And even time and space start to become more fluid. Let's rest in child's pose whenever you're ready, or you can come into hero's pose, Vajrasana. If you're in Vajrasana, make sure you face the palms up on the lap. And take a peek at me if you need to. Keep your heart lifted. It might seem like an exaggeration in the beginning stages. Careful not to float the chin up towards the sky. Just reach to the crown of the head. For those of us in child's pose, you have the option as well to wrap the hands behind the body and rest on the forehead. Good, nice deep breath here. Does anything, any little boulders of mental perturbance, any dams of energetic indifference, as these begin to release, keep breathing into a deeper sense of peace. Moving now even beyond the personality and the inner narration of the mind. The last few moments you can spend by looking at the spiritual eye. And in the same way that moths are drawn to a flame, all of the flittering parts of your consciousness are realigning in the central and critical point of the body. Let the eyelids be light, the heart wide open. Now when you're ready, we're going to slowly transition. Some of us will come right into meditation now. And if you're going to do so, find a nice comfortable way to sit, cross-legged position. You can sit up against a wall if you need to, or up on a cushion. For those of us coming into Shavasana, you can go ahead and take feet onto the earth and roll yourself down onto your back. Shavasana is the final resting posture. You might hold onto the knees for a few moments and just breathe, maybe rocking side to side. Whatever posture or exploration you're choosing, your awareness is anchored in the present moment. You are transfixed with whatever practice you're in. If you're ready to come into Shavasana, extend one leg out at a time, resting down onto the earth. Palms will face up. If you're sitting cross-legged with palms facing up, try sliding the hands closer to the top of the thighs, even so that you're resting weight onto them. The elbows, I can show you if you'd like to watch what it might look like. You're drawing the elbows behind you, and watch the spine. It becomes like the curve of a bow. Front side of the body rounding, the spine central. When you do arrive, relax the shoulders. Eyes are closed in any posture. Keep the eyelids light and look up, starting in the region of the heart, the feeling center of the body, and carrying that feeling, which by now may have awakened into devotion or joy, and lift that energy up to the point between the two eyebrows. And look beyond the space of the forehead, far beyond the skin. Look out into the infinity behind closed eyes. Surrender every muscle in the body to be held by the energy of the earth. You may even begin to feel that you're floating within yourself. Just like you would lie on your back in the ocean, floating within the currents of the ocean. And now feel that any blinders that have been limiting your conscious perception are effortlessly removed. And there's a sense of expansion in every direction that has no limit. The more you expand, the deeper your joy and bliss. And finally, move even beyond personality, likes and dislikes, and allow yourself for the next 3 to 5 minutes to be pure, abiding presence. Just relax deeper and deeper. If a thought comes, relax. fixed. Looking back into the spiritual eye. Feel the peace that's circulating through your body. The deep nourishment of being connected with the soul. The liberating experience of being beyond personality or body consciousness. Just pure awareness. No longer pushed by past experience or pulled by future anxiety. Just calm, abiding presence. Let conscious breath begin to find its way back into your practice, drawing inhalation through the nose, exhalation through the nose, and send a wave of wakefulness back through the physical body, extending energy from the center of your point of awareness. Fill the body with energy and will, activating right out into the tips of the fingers and the toes. And if you're lying on your back in Shavasana, start to stir. If you're meditating, stay inwardly still and feel those cross currents of energy circulating through you. Rising out of Shavasana, feel that you are awakening more and more, eventually reaching the arms up overhead, along the earth, pointing toes, feeling yourself reborn into this body, into this moment. Eventually rolling your way off to your side and then meeting us in a seated posture. Take your time as you need to. Those of us meditating will hold space. Keep your inner gaze at the spiritual eye, my friends. Finding your consciousness unwavering, no longer flittering from one station to another. You are attuned to the frequency of harmony, of upliftment and joy. Know that the blessings that you attract into this world through meditation are like none other, anchoring higher consciousness into this world. You're joining a grid, a community of yogis around the world who at this very moment are doing the same practice. that you are a warrior of the light, anchoring a higher frequency into this world, that it might evolve, that there might be an inner revolution of consciousness. Starting in your own temple. Let's join the hands together in prayer in front of the heart. We'll send waves of blessing through the sound of Om out into the ethers, uplifting consciousness everywhere. Feel that your body is no more than an instrument, a channel for these blessings to flow through, and let them flow through you. Let's rub the palms together. Extending palms out nice and wide into the space around you. Relax and feel energy flowing through the body. We'll sound Om 3 times together. Back together in prayer. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. A gentle bow of your head towards your hands in prayer, thumbs resting on the altar of the spiritual eye. We bow to the divine nature that is within each one of us. That is the essence of who we are. We bow to the divine nature within every being. No matter how these beings may appear to us outwardly, we honor their divine nature within by saying Namaste, Namaste. Just taking a moment of reverie, of honor for these teachings and for the sacred union that we experience through these practices. Thank you all so much for such a sweet practice this morning. I hope you all join for another practice very soon. The more that you can steep into these feelings and these energies, the more powerful this vibration will become anchored into your own being and start transforming your life. You'll find your habits changing, your likes and your dislikes, even your desires. So don't wait any longer. Choose now and today to make this a regular part of your practice. It's the most important gift that we can give ourselves, but more importantly, it's the highest service that we can be of to others. Namaste, everyone.